So here we are again, folks, another video of current events. So I've been reading a lot lately, and I have a behind the camera assistant today because we had a mishap on the sofa this morning. There was some spillage that happened. So
it's just water.
It's just water. And so I got on the news this morning, and apparently that Salt Lake is 3/4 dry. Everybody's whoo-hoo, big concern, right? Then I found out that Lake Mead is almost completely dry and can't generate power. And again, everybody, whoo-hoo. These are minor problems, all right? So I don't know if you guys are regulars to the channel, have ever heard me speak of Big Earl Wanamaker. Big Earl Wanamaker, in the late 30s, built the entire Rocky Mountain system with his Caterpillar tractor. He has Earl Wanamaker, just the seat alone on the tractor is the footprint of this property, an acre. That's how big Big Earl is. The blade alone is probably the width of Manhattan. So the government contracted Big Earl.
So Big Earl is the size of the lake? That's what you said.
No, I said the Big Earl was the size of the acre of this tenement.
I don't think that's what you said.
We'll go to the videotape when I'm done.
No, it's okay. I trust you.
So anyway, the plan is he built the Rocky Mountains a couple of 3 days. He just started dozing out there. And when he was done, the Caterpillar was so big, but his wife, Beatrice, has to bring him a lot of food when he's out there working because he's so big. So anyway, my plan is to take the cat and take it on one
What
of
happened to Esmeralda?
They got divorced. It was doomed from the beginning. You know, she was just... I'm telling a story. It's, Anyway, Esmeralda only had one arm, no other appendages. So he could only, walk her around with her arm, dragging her hips on the road. Well, she had a little, roller skate. This is getting like a Tim Conway stint with the elephant. So, if you take Earl and put him out on an aircraft carrier out in the 5 miles out of, California, and you lower the aircraft carrier to the water, then you submerge. Now, because Big Earl is so big, he can hold his breath for a long time. So he could start dozing off the coast of California and doze a big canal from California into Salt Lake, and then use the salt water to refill up some stuff.
How are we doing?
I'm starting to get distracted by sexual proclivities or picadillos or something, I don't know. So, if you doze that channel from the Pacific Ocean to Salt Lake and fill it up with salt water, that would solve that problem. Then make a gigantic desalination plant on the other side of the lake, and then doze the channel from there to Lake Mead. You could have fresh water coming in to Lake Mead forever. I don't know why people don't think of these things. These things come quite easy to me, I'm an engineer by nature. I don't have my hat today, my engineer hat, but they do let me blow the whistle on the train. So another thing they're thinking about is that they're having a lot of hot weather in China, 140 degrees in some areas, and then they're burning more coal to keep the air conditioners. People have electricity, but that's a double-sided sword. You're burning coal to make electricity, and then you're polluting everybody over there again. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Not a problem. All you got to do is, like they did in many cities here years ago, in the 30s, 20s, they started doing this. They had the Dust Bowl out west. Remember that? The old Dust Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
What they started doing out here is they started doming the cities, putting a dome over them. Like the Astrodome, only they would call it the China Dome. You've heard of the China Syndrome? This would be like the China Dome. So they put a whole dome.
How did that turn out?
Well, they learned a lot since then. Don't put hot shit in the ground. You know, remember when Jack Lemmon told whoever it was, Sigourney Weaver or Meryl Streep or something, remember those classic lines? Shed load, shed load.
All right.
Or you could just do what Harry Beale did and go open up the window wherever you are and start yelling, I'm mad as hell, I'm not going to take it anymore.
Good one, Bill.
Thank you. So also, this whole thing about, the sea levels rising. I could take this camera and turn it on you, and then
And what would you do with it?
I'll probably keep it to myself. I wouldn't be able to. So,
they're not bad legs for an old woman.
No, I never said they were. So everybody's worrying about, the ocean levels are going to rise. Again, right? Not an issue at all. All you got to do is, again, incorporate big Earl or heavy equipment of any kind. Close the Panama Canal for a day. It would just take a day. And instead of having a lock system, just have a ground level canal. Take all the locks out. It never really worked anyway. I mean, why are you trying to lock water? You can't really do it. Have a sea level canal. That way it would be draining. So if the East Coast was filling up too much, same thing in the bathtub. What do you do when your bathtub is filling up too much? You pull the drain plug. So you pull the drain plug in the Panama Canal, and then
Gotcha.
you could just drain the water from the Atlantic to Pacific. And like the Christmas song says, from Atlantic to Pacific, the water was terrific. So there goes. Many problems are solved at this. I got a caption or a text from somebody probably telling me from this video hasn't even aired yet, and they're probably telling me shut the fuck up. Well, that's surprising. He got back to me right away. Maybe he's not interested. I kind of figured that. A lot of other issues people have with so-called problems. These problems arise, and everybody, what are we gonna do? So you have all this excessive garbage in New York City, right? Not a problem. Oh, we don't know what to do with the garbage, and nobody wants to take our garbage. Just start breeding rats. If you breed the rats will eat all the garbage, and then wazoo, problem asphyxiated. So that's another one of the many issues that is easily taken care of by great thinkers like myself. All right? Another thing, too, everybody's all concerned about...
Oh, look at the time.
So they're saying, Florida with sea level raise and everything. Again, what are we going to do with Florida? Nobody uses their head in this country anymore. Get Big Earl out there again with one of his massive chainsaws, and you start up in Pensacola, and you just cut that piece off of Florida, and then you tow it out into the middle somewhere, like Idaho or Iowa or any of the ones with I, because nobody lives there anyway, and just let it sit there, and it's not going to get any water on it. And then you'd have a whole bunch of old people living out there, and they could be then employed by the government, because everybody that lives in the middle is employed by the government. That's a flyover zone, so the people on the coast have something to look at, and they would really enjoy seeing Florida out in the middle, and you'd have a lot of, how you feeling today, Murray? Oi, don't ask, Mrs. Schwartz was, then you could go visit people in the hospital. How you doing today? Well, I'm comfortable. Uh-oh. So I hope I've helped solve a lot of the issues today. Now Ukraine, that's another stymie issue. Oh, what are we gonna do? They were worried about getting airplanes. Nobody ever thought about using skyhooks.
I do want to show you. I don't know if it's anything that fell off a teeny tiny little whatever.
It looks like a hoodie.
It was on the floor.
Okay.
In the carpet.
Oh, that's a piece of metal from when I drilled that thing yesterday.
Oh.
Anyway, use a sky hook.
You're back?
It's like I'm trying to get confiscated off my airways. This is my own channel, so anyway, sky hooks. The Russians come in with planes like old Soviet era MiG-83s or something like that, and they don't fly that well because they're roosters, so they go like so just put up a whole ton of sky hooks, like as many sky hooks as you can. Planes will hit those sky hooks. It'll be just like those things on those old Bugs Bunny cartoons to pull the guy off the stage, and that would happen.
Mm-hmm.
And another issue, everybody, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? They should just come to me with this. So I read an article today that, Mount Everest does not have snow on it, and, that people are having trouble climbing it, and they got to go from some side because the Chinese won't let the Nepalese go on the Chinese side and vice versa. Now, the mountain is 28,000 feet high or 30,000 feet high, fairly high. So that right away impedes your air traffic because, some guy's flying along and he doesn't see it. Bang, boom, hits it. That's it, it's over. This is the 1980s, man. Cut the top of that mountain off. Bring it down to something civil. Yeah, say 2-3 feet, all right? It solves the whole problem with people trying to climb it because anybody can climb 2-3 feet in a couple of days, right? Then you take all the dirt that you have in there and just start building land bridges so people can get places wherever that is. Like, say, they had the Yangtze River in China, all right? And then you had the Nile River in whatever place that's in. So just start making a land bridge from the Yangtze. The Yangtze, I was corrected. It's the Yangtze. It's the Yangtze. So you run that down to the Nile. And people have some place that they need to go. If you wanted to, you could blacktop it. If you wanted, you don't have to because it'll pack down with a lot of vehicular traffic. These are all issues that, people come to me and be like, Bill, gas prices are so high, right? Oh, gas prices are so, what are we going to do? Not a big deal. Just don't drive, all right? You got some place to go? You call up your neighbor Murray. He's got an electric. Hey, Murray, can you come over here and take me to 83rd Street and 47th Street? Yeah, sure, and it's all good. It'll all work out. Now, another problem.
Is this happening in New York?
What, the gas crunch?
Yeah. Let's say that.
It's all over the whole planet, I think. It's outside of Bergen County. I'll tell you that. It's a lot happening outside of Bergen County, Hudson County. And I talked to my friend today from Hudson County, Smitty, he's in Jersey City, and he says that it's just a madhouse out there. So, in other words...
Is this a made-up person?
No, Smitty I work with forever. So, you buy 5 gallons of gas, and your car needs 20 gallons. Just add 19 gallons of water and drive slower. It's a very simple proposition. If you drive slower, you're not going to use more gas, and the car will just... That gas blends right in with the water. It runs really well with that. I can't stress that enough. Just like what you want to do when you have milk or something. You add some water to it, or like you're having a scotch, say, for instance, and you want to have a scotch and water. People mix that stuff all the time. It's totally doable. Other problems they have, the Soviets have one aircraft carrier, and it has to be always accompanied by a destroyer because it's always breaking down. And if you want to look at something really, really funny, they don't have catapults on the Soviet aircraft carriers, so they have a ramp. This is true. And the ramp goes up.
You don't have to get so...
Lurid?
No. Defensive.
Defensive. These are all problems that are solvable. Arab-Israeli dispute, right? Not an issue. You just get the people, the Arabs, to stop wearing the sand hats, right? And you get the Jewish people to stop wearing the beanies. Now, if nobody had those hats on...
don't say that to other people, do you?
It's true. I mean, if they didn't have the hats on,
Okay.
headwear,
Just wondering.
nobody would know who they are, except when they went to order a corned beef. Mr. Schwartz, can I get you a corned beef? Oh, he don't ask. So, it's like Katz's Deli in New York City. I mean, everybody goes there. You don't have to be a Jewish person to go there. You can be a goy and go there. It's the same thing. I mean, I've been there myself, and I mean, know that I'm the worst of the worst. I'm a Mick. So, all right. Just the other day, we're driving around. This is a true story.
Isn't it?
You are. So a tree falls in the road. Now people ask me, they come up to me on the street, Bill, does a tree make a noise in the forest if no one's there to hear it? Oh yeah, it does. I put tape recorders down and then had the tree fall, and it makes the same noise. It makes shit, right? So,
Good one.
so I get out of the car because it's a blind thing, and so I park the car way up the road, put the flashes on. Me and Cheryl get out of the car in case somebody comes flying around and turn 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So I go to drag the tree out of the road. So I'm walking backwards, dragging this big, gigantic tree. And the tree limb snaps. Bang! I hit the ground, and my head hits the road here. Right away, everybody's now out of their car. Are you all right? But they didn't get out of the car first. And then they noticed where my head hit, the road cracked. I mean, that was a no-brainer. I mean, you take a Mick out anywhere and his head hits the road, something's going to give. It ain't going to be the guy's head, So, another problem rectified. Now, they have a water shortage in Arizona. Oh, what are we going to do with our lawns? Nobody ever heard of green paint out there? Just keep the lawn the way it is. Don't do anything. And just get a big roller and paint the whole lawn green. Not an issue. And if you if you wanted to spruce it up, you put some red lines on there to tell you where the water line and electric lines are. So, I think I've cured about all the world's issues so far today, don't you think? Do you think you have any other issues that we should discuss on the channel today?
Oh, I think
we've covered we've covered it.
Dear God, I hope so.
Oh. Well, I'm going to sign off from our sponsors, Merrill Lynch, Pierce Venner, and Ziggy, or else Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe.
That's one of my favorites.
I'll run the credits today. Our driver is Mertz Keister.
See, you're making a mistake by...
Our Russian chauffeur is pick up and drop off.
Fine.
Our doctor is Dr. My Ass Hurts. Okay, folks, see ya.